Awareness Day, or Valentine's Day. Love Day. Love your puppies day. Love your puppies day. Yes, this is my Valentine. Fat boy. Fat boy's my Valentine. Fat boy's my Valentine. Where's my flowers, fat boy? Huh? Where's my chocos? Huh? Huh?
You do a lot worse than Fat Boy.
I know. Fat boy's a perfect Valentine's Day. Yes, you are. You're my perfect Valentine Day.
He's the godfather.
You're the godfather. You love me unconditionally. What's going on, y'all? Okay, so let's see. I think I left off at the chakra system. Wait. Each chakra contains information that is essential to your ability to interpret the symbolic meaning of your life experiences. Each also is a center of power source that you are meant to acquire, such as wisdom in the sixth chakra or self. I think I read this, but we can read it again. Sixth chakra or self-respect in the third chakra. At the level of personality, these power sources are reflected in strengths such as intellectual skills for the sixth chakra or self-discipline and courage for the third chakra. Deficits in your chakra energy caused by trauma shows up in your personality as a weakness in your life, as challenges that force you to try to heal your wounds and history. In my previous books, I worked with the chakras from the ground up, from 1 through 7. In the first part of this chapter, we're going to work with the chakras from the 8th down. This is because we're focusing on your archetypical energies, which reside in the 8th chakra. We're going to track each one through its spiritual significance. Let's see here. 7th chakra and its projections in your psyche. 6th chakra to see how it influences your choices. 5th chakra and activities and activates an emotional response that emanates from your heart. 4th chakra. A dramatic shift occurs when this current of life force enters your 3 lower chakras, which correspond to your self-esteem, sexuality, power, and survival, and finds expression in your physical life. There, your perceptions become instinctual rather than rational and emotional, more reactive and not particularly concerned with spiritual growth. By observing how the native intelligence of your chakras interacts with the influential patterns of your archetypes, you gain insights into your contract, into how the divine reveals its partnership with you. Also, you see how energy data connect to the physical aspects of your life. Your archetypical energies determine your life patterns, which is another way of saying that your biography becomes your biology. Although we say that each chakra contains certain knowledge or regulates particular activities, it may be more appropriate to say that the chakra resonate energetically with various aspects of your life. The survival stuff of your physical life, such as a car or house, for instance, resonates to dense reality. While such items are important to your physical comfort, they are not essential to your spiritual development. They resonate with your first chakra, which is your anchor to the physical environment. With each ascending chakra, your individuality emerges, along with the specifics of your life that reflect your own spiritual path and many contracts. Each chakra is a doorway to another energy reality, a means of perception that helps you see your archetypical journey through life more clearly. The chakras resonate with ever less refined spiritual energies as you work your way down the spinal column. For example, the emotional connections you have to other people, which resonate with your fourth chakra, have a far greater effect on your personal development than the kind of car you choose to drive. Each chakra also represents a degree of spiritual awareness and personal power that you need to manage consciously. For instance, it takes a great deal more thought and presence of mind to make the best and healthiest emotional choice for yourself than it does to select the best car. For much of the same reason, although you are always working with the energies of all your chakras, you confront the issues and areas of your life regulated by your chakras in ascending order as your life progresses chronologically. Later in this chapter, I'll take you through an exercise in which you'll work with your chakras in more conventional progression from the bottom up. But right now, let's examine their relative strengths from the top down. The eighth chakra. Lesson. Integrate the self. Power. Symbolic sight. Strength. Lesson. Integrate the self. Power. Symbolic sight. Strengths. Detachment. Staying in the present moment. Unconditional trust. That's a tough one. Unconditional trust. Ability to recognize illusions. Acceptance of intuitive guidance. Shadow. Every archetype has both positive and shadow manifestations. For the shadow aspect of specific archetypes, see the appendix. The eighth chakra, or transpersonal point, marks the realm where, looking up, the individual soul merges with the greater universe. Looking down, it marks the point at which the soul manifests into matter, into your individual energy body. Your 12 archetypal companions, with whom you identified in Chapter 5, are the symbolic residents of the eighth chakra. They guide your sacred contract. Your bond with your 12 is considerably more intense than it is with countless other archetypes that make up the collective unconscious. Although some of them may influence you from time to time, also particularly during periods of social upheaval, wars, and natural disasters. You can, of course, relate to many archetypical patterns, even if they are not part of your immediate archetypical family. For example, I am not physically a mother to a biological child, and the mother archetype is not among my 12, yet I can emphasize with what it means to be a mother to someone. By contrast, the hermit archetype is such a strong influence on me that I constantly have to satisfy that aspect of my psyche. From the seventh chakra on down to the first, where it influenced even the kind of home I live in. When I chose my home, I had to feel that it was more a hermitage than a house because I need to withdraw from the world in order to create. Achieving an impersonal archetypical overview of your personal life empowers you to deal with your day-to-day life. When you can recognize, what are you chewing on? Hey, your toy? Okay. When you can recognize the patterns of a particular archetype at work in your life, you hone in on emotions or tendencies that need your attention. And identifying yourself as having a wounded child archetype, for instance, you are acknowledging that you have been hurt. Then you can examine your spirit for first chakra energy leaks, for instance. Did the hurt come from a family member? If so, can you practice a first chakra strength, detach from the hurt and grief, and find whatever wisdom has come out of that injury, and see how it has become a part of your contract. Like all of us, you had to learn forgiveness. So this wound or loss was your route to learning that spiritual lesson. Learning to deal with necessary losses is a part of everyone's contract. Although we feel physical and emotional pain, our spiritual purpose is to become aware of the reasons for such events, or to create meaning out of them. So a physical wound needs to be transformed into a spiritual passageway, converting the actual experience into its symbolic purpose. What?
You let me know when you're going to the.
Of course I will.
Okay.
Why don't you go try the bathroom, please?
Okay.
Thank you. Once you learn to see your archetypes at work in your physical experiences, you can more easily understand your emotional and psychological responses and find their symbolic meaning. If you're having a dispute with a family member over how to care for an aging parent, for instance, you can analyze whether the dispute is an issue of the first chakra, tribal loyalty, the second chakra, money and power, or perhaps the fourth chakra, placing love and compassion above loyalty and money. That knowledge will help you decide on the most appropriate course of action. If you are in a relationship that seems more hurtful and confusing than enjoyable and empowering, you will need to determine whether the core problem involves a sexual power play, second chakra, a chronic lack of self-esteem, third chakra, the inability to express your needs, fifth chakra, or a struggle to free your spirit, seventh chakra. Your chakras tell you, in essence, how you manage your power. By looking at a difficult situation or event, past or current, through each of your chakras, you can determine where the problems lie. And how to address them. One man I know, named Mark, has chosen to divorce his wife despite great opposition from both their families, who worry about the couple's children and whose religious beliefs oppose divorce. Mark is following through with the divorce because he feels he needs to be healthy and fulfilled. He and his wife married very young and have grown in opposite directions, no longer sharing much of anything except a cold civility. From Mark's perspective, he also has to prevent his family from making his choices for him. He is able to use the positive energy of his first chakra, which regulates family matters, and his understanding of his victim archetype to withstand the resentment and guilt with which his tribal elders are trying to burden him. He sees the potential to be victimized in this situation, but he also sees his relatives are acting out of their own first chakra need to hold the family together at all costs. I've made a full assessment of what I will face by moving forward with my choices, Mark says. I know that no one will support me, and I'm prepared to live with the consequences because I cannot see living an empty and bitter life. I've made arrangements to take care of my kids and my ex-wife. I will not abandon my financial responsibilities as a father. And I also hope that I can teach my children, through my example, that it is important to make certain choices in life, even when they are difficult. Many of the things we have to do will hurt other people, not because we want to hurt them, but because life puts us into circumstances in which hurt just cannot be avoided. I will try to teach them all I can from this, and I am prepared for them to reject me. But I hope that rejection will not last forever. Still, I am grateful that I have what it takes to stand on my own 2 feet in this lifetime. Our archetypical patterns are only part of the vast stores of soul knowledge inherent in our 8th chakra. The 8th chakra calls you to find God. It draws you into seeking your higher potential. It helps you see your life as a spiritual journey disguised as a physical experience. Your passion to live a meaningful life, your need to make peace with your conscience, these yearnings are all expressions of the soul speaking through your intuition, through your chakras of body and mind. Following their promptings, you will fulfill your sacred contract. And I'll read the archetype that we left off that, which I believe was, oh God. See also hero. Whether a great worldly power or a great physical specimen, the god archetype represents the ultimate in male dominance. On the positive side, a god can be benevolent and compassionate, willing to use his power to help others out of love for humanity. The shadow god easily becomes a dictator or despot, opposing others with those same powers or using his physical attractiveness to get what he wants without ever returning the affection he elicits. To claim this archetype among your support circle of 12, you need to have a lifelong sense of great power, used either selfishly or selfishly or selflessly. You may feel a powerful connection to a particular deity. So here are a few from the Roman Greek pantheon. Jupiter, Zeus, father god, head of the pantheon. Bacchus, Dionysus, wine and revelry. Mars, Ares, war. Neptune, Poseidon, the sea. Pluto, Hades, the death of the underworld. Films, Marlon Brando in the Godfather trilogy. Religion, myth, like the archetype in human manifestation, mythic and religious gods run the gamut of from omniscient to benevolent deities to arbitrary destroyers. In addition to those listed above are Yahweh, Hebrew, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, Indra, Hindu, Allah, Muslim, Ra, Osiris, and Ptah, Egyptian, Baal, Canaanite, Marduk and Ishtar, Babylonian, Quetzalcoatl and I can never say these words, Tezcatlipoca, Aztec, Enlil and Dumuzi, Sumerian, Osun and Olokun, Yoruba, Wakantanka, Native American.